Let me just read you a statement from the company Rydon in relation to the tower block itself, because I mentioned earlier there's a lot of talk here and a lot of anger about the refurbishment of this block. Now, crucially, we simply don't know how or why this fire started, and we don't know why it spread so incredibly quickly. That is all going to be the matter for a major investigation, one assumes. But to that point, we have in the last few minutes had a statement from the company Rydon saying because it carried out that refurbishment. So I think it's worth just telling you what the company is saying, that they are shocked to hear of the devastating fire. Their immediate thoughts are with everyone affected. And then going on to say that they completed a refurbishment of the building in the summer of 2016 for the organisation which runs this residential tower block. It's run by the Kensington and Chelsea Tenant Management Organisation. So it carried out the refurb for that organisation on behalf of the council. And it goes on to say this met all required building control, fire regulation and health and safety standards. We will cooperate with the relevant authorities and emergency services and support their inquiries into the cause of the fire. Given the ongoing nature of this incident, it would be inappropriate to comment further at this stage. But the crucial line there in that statement saying that as far as Rydon is concerned, it did meet all required building control, fire regulation and health and safety standards. Let's talk to a fire and building inspector. Jeff Wilkinson joins me from our studios in London. Jeff Wilkinson, thank you for your time this morning. We don't know what happened here precisely, of course, but your thoughts from the pictures you've been watching on the television this morning and from everything we've been hearing from people we talked to about how rapidly the fire spread.
Well, I mean, obviously, first of all, the thoughts are with all those that are affected directly or indirectly, but I think it's safe to say that the pictures that we've seen clearly show that the building didn't perform in the way in which we'd expect the building to perform. If there is a fire in any of these buildings, you'd expect it to be contained to an individual apartment. You wouldn't expect it to spread in anything like the way, and certainly not in the time that we've actually seen here. So something has gone dramatically wrong here.
Your point being that if a fire breaks out in any given flat inside a block like that, there must be systems in place and materials in place to stop it spreading to other flats.
Absolutely. So you'd expect to say the construction of individual flat to be contained as an individual fire tight cell. You'd expect that the cladding system itself would be non-combustible and it wouldn't contribute to the spread of fire in the building. I think not only is it the actual spread of the fire itself that we need to look at, but one of my major concerns with what we're seeing here and what we're hearing is the concern that the smoke has actually spread into the escape routes. Now, these buildings are designed with just a single stair core within them. So both the fire service and those people that are trying to escape both have to use that stair. Hence the reason why in most cases people are advised to stay in place to enable the fire service to get in, tackle the blaze. It's clear here that the fire spread and prevented the fire service from being able to do that.
And that simply shouldn't happen even when you have that construction with one single staircase. There are measures in place.
Correct. I mean, if you think about it, there are several thousand of these tower blocks. There are several hundred fires a year, and almost invariably they're contained to the individual flat or apartment concerned. At this point in time, again, it's very much speculation, but we need to find out whether or not or whereabouts the location of the seat of the fire was in the first instance, because that can help tell us how the fire itself spread. I have heard rumours that there were other works carried out more recently, such as some gas mains being put in through the building. Now, it's possible that in doing that, people have actually drilled through some of the compartmentation and haven't necessarily sealed around that, because what we're after is ensuring that those fire breaks are actually maintained and any services that pass through them are correctly fire stopped afterwards. So even if it was signed off at the time, it may have been that subsequent work has been carried out and that has undermined it.
Right, that's an interesting point. So that subsequent work would have to be investigated as well. A thought about fire alarms as well. I mean, and it sounds like such a simplistic question, but a building of this size, I'm assuming it is obligatory to have fire alarms, isn't it?
Actually, it's quite the reverse. The way in which these buildings are designed, as I say, isn't for everyone to escape. With a single staircase of that kind, the intention is that the fire is contained within the individual apartment. So you don't have to have everyone escaping all at one point. What will happen is the fire service will arrive, they'll take command of it, and they will make a decision as to which floors should evacuate. If you had an automatic detection system, you'd end up with everyone evacuating in. One of the other things that we've found in the past is that if you have a common fire alarm throughout the building, because of situations where toast, etc., goes off, people will start to try and attempt to decommission the alarm, or they'll ignore the response when you're in that. It's quite different to an office building or a hotel building where the evacuation is managed by fire wardens. You don't have that in a block of flats of this kind.
I see. All right. Well, thank you so much for your insight there, Jeff Wilkinson, who is a building safety expert. Thank you very much. I think we can just get an update from our health correspondent, Jane.